Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be learning about the calculation of overtime pay. Now, what exactly is overtime pay? Overtime pay is money that is earned because somebody has worked beyond their normal work week. The number of hours are fixed that people are normally supposed to work on a weekly basis. So in this case, in our database, that's 40 hours. So anyone who works beyond 40 hours or is expected to be paid extra money for that week. Therefore, we have in our database here, in our spreadsheet, in fact, our list of names of persons here, we have a number of persons who will be getting overtime pay because they have worked beyond 40-hour work week. Now, our task is to calculate how much money that equals to. Now, overtime pay is normally given an increase in rate over your regular rate of pay. So you have a regular pay rate, and when you work overtime, that pay rate is increased. In our case, our overtime rate, that increased rate is 1.5. That means you're going to be working 1.5 times your regular pay rate when you work overtime. So the number of hours that you work overtime, you'll be paid at 1.5 times that rate, hourly rate that you would get under normal circumstances. So we're going to calculate what that is for Cheryl Harrison. So the first thing to do is to find out how many hours did she work overtime. So let's find that out. We're going to enter a formula in J10 to help us to first of all get that information, and then we're going to multiply that by the pay rate, and then we're going to multiply that by 1.5, which represents the overtime rate. So here goes. We start our formula with an equal sign. So we press equal, and then we're going to find out how many hours that person had worked for the week. So that information is stored in H10. Then we're going to take away from that, we're going to subtract what are the normal number of hours that person should work per week. So here we have it. We have regular hours being stored in B6, and in this case it's 40. So when we do that calculation, it represents the number of hours that person would have worked overtime. Now, what is the regular hourly rate for that person? We're going to multiply that number of hours by that regular pay rate. So here we have pay rate stored in G10. So we're multiplying the pay rate times the number of hours that the person has worked overtime. Then we're going to now multiply that by the overtime rate. And the overtime rate is stored in cell B7. So here we have it. And we press enter. And there we go. We have a dash in this cell for Cheryl Harrison because she did not work overtime. So she did not earn any overtime pay. So let us now find out and use this formula to find out how much money was earned by the other members of her team. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this formula down to the other cells. We're going to copy it down. But before we can copy the formula, we must do a number of things. We must make some cells absolute, some cells fixed. Those things that are the same for each employee, that doesn't change, they're referring to the same value for each employee. That value must be made fixed in the cell. Now in our case, that is the number of hours, the regular hours for the week. It's the same for everyone. So that cell must be fixed. Then the number of hours that are worked, the overtime rate, that is, must be fixed. So that's B6 and B7 must be fixed. So the $ goes before the column letter and the $ goes before the row number of the cell that must be fixed. the $. There we go. Then do the same thing for cell D7, $B and $7. So once we have done that, we only need now to copy the formula down to the other cells. So we go to the bottom right hand corner and our pointer becomes a plus, and then we drag the formula down to the other cells and there we have it. We calculate the total number of overtime pay that this person has earned. So here we have it. The total overtime pay is calculated by finding the hours worked overtime, multiplying that by the hourly rate, and then the overtime rate. All right, thank you very much. In our next video, we're going to be doing some additional calculations. We're going to be calculating the total pay of each employee and be doing some other deductions. Okay, so see you soon.